Hi,
Hey.
how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm well. You painted up today. Look
Yeah.
good. I did not. But do you know about Zoom having the setting that says make my appearance better?
No.
So let's see, we're in Zoom. Where would it be? Maybe under more? Pause, stop. No, I'm doing the meeting. Anyway, when you go into your Zoom, go to settings and it'll be so maybe under profile or something where you can type your name and there's one button that says enhance my appearance or something.
Oh, that would be lovely.
And it's a bar. You look great, but I'm telling you, if you take that bar and you pull it all the way to the top, you're like 10 years down.
That's great. That's one of my pet peeves is these videos. I had to do another one for another class, and I struggle more with just being confident enough appearance wise to get on here. And it was only a minute long one. I was like, oh my gosh.
So if you record in Zoom instead of your camera,
Hmm.
your phone, you can have that enhanced thing. You can share a screen and your little picture will be over in the corner, or you can just record looking at and talking to the light, right?
Hmm.
And then when your meeting's over, you close the meeting down. There's a button in Zoom says meetings, and you go to the ones that say recorded, and you can download that file and then trim it and pull it into YouTube.
Sweet. I'm definitely writing this down.
Okay. You want me to tell you any of it again?
No, I think I'll,
Find it.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can always Google how to record in Zoom and make a YouTube video, and
Okay.
Google will have a list. But here's another trick. You notice how a lot of my YouTube videos have a screen cover
Hmm.
that looks similar with the hand holding the phone? That was
Hmm.
intentional because people are drawn to the human, not just regular design. So I intentionally used a phone, which they're drawn to, and a hand, which they're drawn to. And I put my titles. Well, that's just a PowerPoint screen.
Okay.
And then I go in and it was from a movie I made about syllabus, and it has the word syllabus on it. And every time I want to make a new video, I just go back to that PowerPoint, change the front cover, and then don't save it. But I screenshot it.
Hmm.
In YouTube, when it says, here's three pictures, you can pick the one you want for the front screen.
Hmm.
I just upload my PowerPoint screen.
Okay.
And then you have looks like it's fancy. Yeah, new choice
Alrighty. So I actually printed out the informative outline
with the
and
comments
your
on them.
with your comments. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I almost want to work backwards from that because works cited seems to be where I'm struggling the most.
Well, I'll tell you what I would do. I wouldn't worry about the works cited today or even next week because I won't regrade that. But when you do your works cited for your TED 2, get the librarian, the learning center, or me to look at it. Or your
Okay, it
or your friend that absolutely knows how it's supposed to look.
isn't works cited required on the demos and persuasive as well though?
Yes, ma'am. But
Okay.
your TED 2 is next week.
Okay.
And then the demo and persuasive outline plans, which have at least five sources, are not due. See, let's see. Tomorrow,
July
tomorrow
17th.
opens up the fourth week, right? Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
next week, and you've already turned in your outline, and you've done this great thing of getting feedback and asking more questions and everything. Um, Uh, this week, there is, so starting tomorrow, technically, but it could be now, you've got TED 2, that's a one-page paper with the works cited on its own page about the speaker's delivery analysis for some second TED Talk you choose with just one speaker, 13 minutes or longer. And there's some specific directions. And if you get the format right, that's an easy 100. Okay, so that's due this coming week. The outline was due, but you've already done it, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
And the course
Yeah,
outline also has two other things.
I have the TED. I have how I scored TED Talks printed as well.
Yeah,
So that's really been helping me is getting everything printed and in my face. That way I can be kind of using it and using my computer to get it up.
perfect. Perfect. We all
That's just
learn
a
different
study thing
ways. If
I've
that helps you, awesome.
tremendously,
Did you
tremendously.
look at the exemplars for the
Yes, I
outline?
actually printed a few of those as
Okay.
well.
Okay, so you'll be golden. But do
All
get a
right.
second set of editing eyes. It's totally okay to use like Microsoft Word forever has been underlined on a word if there's a spacing problem or a spelling problem and you select the
Hmm.
right word. To me, that's not cheating. That's using
Okay.
supportive tools. As you can see from many of my discussion board comments, I'm all about learning how to ethically use artificial intelligence tools to
Yeah.
support our brainstorming, maybe the slideshows that we'll adapt and make our own, and
Okay.
things like grammar checks.
Okay. So also the reason why I printed out my informative outline is because this is the material I'll be using to do my informative speech, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
However, that font is real small. So if you won't read it to us, right? You'll talk to us.
Right.
So you might make little cue cards or on a Word doc, um, put something, don't share the screen. If you got a Zoom, you pull a Word doc over and it's got the bullet points and maybe the
Mm-hmm.
highlighted quotes so
Mm-hmm.
that you can look down and know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Or a big poster behind your computer or recording device, just with bullet points of like what you want to make sure that you say, some kind of a queuing system.
Okay. So that's also why I got it out is because I'm gonna turn my Wi-Fi off. Um because when I sent it in, I had suggested that I'm not really liking it. I'm not liking the flow. I don't see a flow as well. Um, so I was wondering, I probably need to get with the librarian to maybe help me with that to get it
Absolutely. Or
better.
the learning center tutors. I'm going to go
The
and look at,
learning center.
yeah, I actually have the with comments one on my desktop. So let me go.
Yeah, I don't like the flow of it at all personally. And if I can't
I don't recall saying you had a big organizational
No,
problem.
no, no, I do. I did. When I emailed it to you, I was like, I'm not really liking the structure. That's how I worded it. I'm not really liking the structure if I can get some feedback on that. Um, because no, you didn't say that at all. Um, but if
Yeah,
I'm not
because
comfortable with the structure, I don't even see where I can put it into cue cards to get me flowing,
okay,
you know?
okay. So here you got something to take notes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm looking at your document with comments too.
Okay.
First of all, let's look at your attention getter.
Okay.
That could be left there, but let's make it into a site.
Okay.
Which source did that come from?
I actually wrote that down in my notes back here. And it is from the web page themselves. It's the 13threcoverycourts.com.
Okay, so
And
we don't have to put the .com thing. You could
okay,
say the 13th Judicial District Recovery Court's website
website.
states their mission is blah 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 blah.
Okay. That sounds more flowy.
And that's a citation. Boom.
Okay.
And I'll hear that as a citation. And
Okay.
then the second way to make a citation, let's go to your next yellow one. Let's do those first. Oh, you didn't yellow in them. You didn't
See,
yell
that's
at,
why I wanted to start with citations. So up at
okay.
the beside the um map of Tennessee, I have it
Oh, you have
highlighted.
them up there.
Yes. So a lot of my
Yeah, you
works
totally
cited.
didn't write any of your citations in here.
Okay, so that's where I'm messing up.
Okay. So the things that you wrote and showed pictures of in the top
hmm
are your sources. And if you go all the way to the bottom to your works cited, one, two, three, four, five. Okay. So you see we've already done the 13th Recovery Court website.
Yes.
Okay. What did you want to say from Bobby Duffy?
It's the picture of the poem that's actually in the Recovery Court Handbook.
And
Or
okay, so everything you just said to me sounds like you could explain
okay.
that, but where would it fit? Would it fit in
So I moved
treatment for
it back.
drugs, treatment in self-help, or long-lasting sobriety? Does that keep you going? Where does that poem have its import? In which main point?
Okay. Let's go back to so it would go with long lasting sobriety
Yeah,
just because the poem is, suggesting choices.
yeah.
Um I had actually moved it down on my outline
Uh-huh,
penciled in. Would
uh-huh.
it work in the closer sentence? Can I add
Okay, you
that at the
can't have
end?
it, you can have you can't have new information in
Okay.
our framework in the conclusion. You
Okay.
could put the poem there, but I'm thinking it probably fits even better in your main point three.
Okay.
And you have to figure out how you're going to say it. Remember the two ways to say a source when you're talking to other people. Maybe you show the screenshot on a slide and people know how to do this animation stuff on their social media
I
where it sits right
know.
there. We can figure that stuff out. And did you say you have a Mac? I can't remember.
No, I have an HP.
Okay, because I use iMovie. I've started to learn how to edit things. That long library video, did you ever see it?
The 39-minute or 32-minute one.
37, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
And now I still haven't learned how to animate it and make it jump in and do things,
Yeah.
but I did learn to put the words so that they show up. So that's another toy you can play with. But if you have the screenshot up and then you say what you just said to me, one thing that really continues to inspire me every time I'm feeling a little struggle here is this poem. And then you put it up. Now, if it's long, especially these lines, and you just give them the few lines that are the powered lines. If it's really, really long, because you have to decide, is the whole thing going to be said? Yeah, that's a really long poem.
Yeah.
And you can say, Bobby Duffy's 2006 poem is in their handbook, and the lines, and here it is. And the stanza that stands out to me, or the lines that really stand out to me, and I have to keep remembering, close my eyes and take a breath and say these lines to myself, whatever, like that. That you talk like that, but the way that you say sites are either according to Bobby Duffy's 2006 poem that's in the handbook of this particular court, Judy Project, says this, and then you can tell them the bit about how that impacts you in long lasting. Keep going back to your main point there. The benefit is you've got the sustained, long lasting sobriety.
Okay.
How does that feel now?
Beautiful. Yeah. A lot better.
Okay.
A lot better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's do your next site. Do you have enough
Okay.
notes to know what you want?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Um,
the next source at the bottom is no title. By the way, something is probably not going to be called no title.
okay.
So if you go back to your ballotpedia.org, what do you remember what you wanted to get from that?
It was the map of Tennessee, right? Yes, the map of Tennessee that suggests the counties that are covered in the 13th judicial.
And I think you should put that in your attention getter.
Okay.
I think you should show that and you should make it larger. Do you know the trick about doing command plus 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 or control plus plus plus?
No. Command. Is that
Okay,
CR?
do you have a Word doc up right now?
No. I can pull one
Get a
up.
Word doc up. I want to show you something.
Okay.
And
When
then
you
you
say
can
command, is that
mine's a Mac, it's command. So you get a Word doc up,
okay.
hold control key,
Okay, that's what I was thinking it
uh-huh,
might be.
and press the plus sign. Plus plus plus. Look what happens.
Oh, it makes it the page a lot bigger.
Now look to your left of the plus sign. There's a minus sign. Press down control, press minus minus minus.
Okay.
All right, you got a new trick. Write it down.
Yeah. So,
If you go to Google Images and you ask for HP keyboard shortcuts, it will give you a beautiful chart that you can print. And every time I want to save, I just do Command S, or on an HP, I do Control S. If I want to make a new document, Control New. If I want to highlight a word, I double click on it and I do Command or Control U and it underlines it, or Control I makes it italic. So keyboard shortcuts are my joy. Now, not
I
everybody
will
uses them, but
I will give you a funny story. What I
okay.
have learned so far is by my 13-year-old daughter. So,
My grandchildren and my students teach me all the time. I didn't get a fancy phone like this. I had a flip phone and this is like 14 or something.
uh,
And the I said I went into the Apple store. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna have to get one. I need the biggest one you've got because I have old eyes and big hands." And they gave me the Max Pro S, like supersize me. And I said, I want the latest one you have. A week later, the 15 came out. But that's how long I've had this. My kids teach me all this, and my nephews and my
yeah,
kids, and
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's awesome, isn't it?
yeah. I was like, okay, I'm at loss here. I have this wonderful laptop and I don't even know how to use it.
But you're
So,
learning. Isn't it
yeah,
cool?
yeah, it is.
We are creating so many new pathways.
Yeah.
All right. So do you feel comfortable that you're going to put that map and you're going to either say, according to the jurisdiction, this map from Ballotpedia on the jurisdiction in all these different counties where there is one of these things, um, this map includes the 13th district includes this, that, this, that. So either according to or one of those verbs, states, shows, reports.
Okay. Um, so the reason why that popped up as a no title is when I did copy and paste the ballotpedia.org and put it into SiteFast, I couldn't find any more
Okay.
information on that.
For my purpose,
Uh-huh.
I'd probably fudged it and said jurisdiction map of 13th court thing.
Okay. Okay.
For an English teacher who really might be looking at the details, because I didn't even look at your no title thing until you and I were going over it.
Oh, okay.
I look for font, spacing, that it starts at the top of the page, that it has hanging indent for subsequent lines, first lines to the left. I look for that really basic because we just get a taste of MLA, but you'll leave here with more tools and awareness. Um,
Okay.
the Learning Center or librarians would help you get that more accurate. But in truth, if I was doing a paper and I got flummoxed, I'd probably have fudged it and written that. Just describe
Okay.
the map.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. The other
Are we ready?
citation I
Yeah.
do believe I might have put in right because
Uh,
I put Are you there?
Holly Royston.
Per interview, Holly Royston. Is that correct?
Let's see where she is. What main point? I don't see her.
It was under, it's above intro.
Oh, well, let's see. Now see, you don't say any of the stuff on the top. When you're about to record, you start with the intro. You start with your attention getter. So let me
Okay.
look and
So that all
see.
needs moved.
Oh, okay. So you said more specifically, look at the drug felons just past. Is that the chart?
Um, so this chart I was trying to use as, where did you put it? Let me see here. Um, one moment. Sorry.
You put it in credibility in the first line.
Yeah. I don't know if I even want to use that chart.
Okay. You're just trying to say there's a lot of people in this program, right? I think
No,
you,
see, that's not even the program. It was off of Tennessee.gov,
uh-huh.
how many felonies are in Tennessee. So it's not condensed enough, I don't think.
Well, okay. So unless you're saying there's this many felonies, and Holly Royson says that many of the clients who come into drug court commit felonies because they're addicts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could use it for just a screenshot of a specific section that you want to
Okay.
put and talk about it, but you do need to reorganize it to say, we have a problem. You could introduce Holly Royston in the attention getter can be longer, okay? Because that's where you give the background information. You're saying we have a problem. You can introduce the chief what is it? What's CEO stand for? Chief.
Oh,
Let me go do a quick search.
chief executive.
Officer.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can introduce Holly, and then when you get into your personal credibility and that you've dealt Holly and you have become friends and acquaintances and then friends and just your guiding light, and talk about her. But everything you do, I want it to be clear that what the purpose is for having that chart there. And then you introduce her, you give us the background information in the attention getter, and then when you say, and I'm an addict, I live with that. What do they call it now? It's a disorder.
Is it a disease?
Addiction disorder, I think I heard someone say at a mental health training recently.
Oh, okay.
Addiction disorder.
How long? HDMI.
She may have even said drug addiction or illicit drug addiction
A
disorder.
lot of the teachings try to express that we have a disease, that it's
Yeah,
not, it's
yeah.
not just,
Well, that's probably what the word disorder does.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so that people, because I know some people have a hard time thinking that alcoholism, yeah, but they chose it. Well, no, it really is a brain-based disorder that we're more
Yeah.
likely to get involved in this, and
Hmm.
then once we're in, we're sucked. I mean, it just sucks us in,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how are you doing, by the way? I mean, it's hard. It's got to be a daily trial or temptation in some way.
So because the program though, I went to women's residential recovery courts in Nashville, and I spent a year there with intense training, like retraining of my brain, pretty much,
Yeah.
because it is a mental disorder. And I went to therapy one-on-one sessions. I did self-help meetings, which in turn is NA and AA meetings, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous.
By the way, everything you're saying is a powerful
Mm,
credibility thing.
hmm.
Another thing you mentioned later on is that the the legal authorities work together.
Definitely.
So we
Mhm.
sort of need to know that in the attention getter as well, even if it's just a sentence or two, so that when you explain it later on, we're primed to understand it. It's not like new information.
Mhm.
Okay?
So it's from the sounds of it, like um my attention getter, how lengthy can that be? Is that going to be like a pretty good main
It
point?
can be a pretty good thing. And then when you get to having the now, yeah, let me do this. Your discussion board indicates one of them says your outline or your discussion board says we need it, and another one says we benefit from it. So what was the
I highlighted that as well. I printed it too. So Crossville area doesn't have a drug court office,
okay.
but it is part of the participation that this drug
Okay,
court
to
consists
me
of.
that needs to be explained.
Okay.
And when I say explain, I don't mean 10 sentences. Just look at us and talk to us about, bullet point. I'm going to talk about Holly. I'm going to talk about this quote. I'm going to talk about the chart. And even if it was 2 minutes, when you then say, if Crossville needs its own office within
Hmm.
this, and it would benefit Crossville and its citizens would benefit in this way, and that way, we're like, "Phew," we're ready to hear it. And then
Okay.
you explain each benefit, this benefit, that benefit, and then close it up.
Okay. Okay. Because I did
It'll
write
be
down.
interesting to see how it goes because
I know. So I wrote this. I said, this is a powerful topic, and I'm just struggling with putting it all together in format per personal experience, ethos, and pathos, and the facts, logos. Like I'm having a hard time just mashing it all together because
and
it's
and
such an
and you
important
actually
topic for
started your
me.
speech like that, right?
Yeah.
I'd say, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'd say take that out.
Oh no. I wrote that just now. Like
Oh, okay.
to present to you. Like, yeah, no.
Okay. Good,
No, it's
good,
not
good.
in the outline.
Okay, and if you make your attention getter, everything we've just said,
Hmm.
including when you get to your personal credibility, some of the stuff that you had to go through to retrain your brain,
Okay. So my
you'll be touching on pathos a little. And when you get to, and you've got logos, you've got facts, and if we get all these citations along with your personal credibility, you will have ethos.
okay,
Ethos is
credibility.
authorities and ethics, but it's authorities.
Okay, credibility needs to be my pathos and
No, credibility is your story. You're going to have
story.
pathos because of your story,
Story.
but that's also ethos because it's ethos is your authority. Why should we believe you with this topic?
Okay.
We
Okay.
believe you because they gave you a break instead of punishing you, and that's what you tell them. Instead of just throwing me in jail, this conglomeration, this collaborative bunch of people in authority said, let's help her heal.
Yep.
And boy, does that touch heartstrings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you
Mhm.
go looking as pretty as you are today with your hair curled and everything like that, you're going to make an impact,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
Okay, by the way, I'm recording this. I didn't mean to.
That's
I'm gonna,
fine.
okay, I must, I guess I'm gonna stop